Hey, folks, it's Tuesday night. It's 9:30. It's time to go behind the hedges.
That's
I'm
right, baby.
Mitch,
This is Matt.
and we are here to talk about your number one Georgia Bulldogs. Um, Matt, we're coming off a bye week here. We had some guys who were banged up. We needed some rest. We may or may not have gotten some rest. What are you hearing coming out of the bye week? Has the needle moved, as you say? Has the needle moved on these injuries, or what's going on?
Initially, it didn't seem like it did, and I got very frustrated. But I think that's more a product of Kirby Smart and his need to be coy and be a smartass and be a tricksy little hobbit when it comes to transparency with our team and the injury situation. Later down the line, we hear that some dudes are coming back. JT's been throwing without pain, has not lost a step. He's been engaged with the offense. Arian Smith is back to full speed. Marcus Rosemy Jack Saint. If you're watching this show and you really are a Georgia fan, that's exciting news. We're getting some dudes back. Jermaine Burton appeared to be full speed, but he's still wearing a wrap, so the groin might still be a thing. George Pickens really wanted to come back for Florida. Don't look like that's going to happen. And Dominic Blaylock's hamstring is still. I think he's actually going for the Guinness Book record for longest hamstring injury in the history of man.
Oh man. Well, so that is good. So defensively, Christopher Smith looks to be back to shore up the secondary. That's really solid news. But one of the videos from Dog Nation Daily said that Action Dan Jackson is still out there getting some reps.
Action Jackson. Listen, I'm doing this for y'all. I ain't doing this for me. I'm being a negative Nancy for y'all because y'all better hope and pray that we get Amir Speed and Chris Smith and George Pickens and JT Daniels and all these 5 and 4 stars back. Because I'm here to tell y'all right now, if Georgia somehow, some way, finds a way to win a national championship with Stetson Bennett the fourth, Ladd the Honky McConkey, and Dan Action Jackson, Merriam-Webster Dictionary gonna have to change the definition of unbearable to a picture of my face.
I mean, you're dead on. Well, welcome, our big orange brother. How are you doing?
Honestly, not that bad.
All right, good deal. What's the score on the Braves game?
It was 5-0, Atlanta.
The unifying force of the SEC, the Atlanta Braves.
Take that. Yeah, so Matt was just going over how he's hoping for everyone in the world's sake.
Not for me.
Not for
y'all.
Matt, but for everyone else, that Georgia starts to get healthy. Because
not for me. For y'all.
Because if Georgia wins a national championship with Ladd McConkey and Dan Jackson starring Stetson Bennett the fourth,
friendships will be lost.
I believe him. I believe what that man says.
I done did it before.
How them fingernails doing, Ducati?
They're surprisingly going very long. I don't have much to be nervous about right now. People have tried to say, hey, sad about your quarterback? I'm like, why? Why should I be sad? How's your quarterback doing? Not to you, but to the person who asked that. That person's 2 quarterbacks also threw 4 interceptions in their 3rd loss of the year. I won't name any names. But yeah, I mean, it's a big week. But before we get all excited and all in a tiff, Mitch, you got to do that thing.
Oh, shoot. I almost completely forgot.
Yeah.
You let me on before you did the thing. What is
I'm sorry.
He's slipping.
I'm slipping. I'm a little bit.
Do it!
Man, I got to thinking about Action Dan, and my heart went pitter patter, and I couldn't even remember to do the thing.
So, I told him Mitch while we were in the green room that I was going to shake it up and shock the world, and this is how I'm going to do it. It's Georgia Florida week. I think I've established my persona. There are expectations when Ducati's on the show, but I got news for y'all. I ain't got time for this. You're probably wanting me to do what I usually do, which is come on here and talk shit and raise Cain about Florida. I ain't got time for it. Well, I do that because normally by this time of the year, Georgia has suffered a loss or suffered some head-scratching, close, ugly game, or there are gaping holes in the Georgia team and we're in the hunt, but everybody in their heart knows we ain't really in the hunt. We're not just in the hunt. We are now firmly in the driver's seat towards a march on a national championship run. The luster of beating up on Florida is gone. I ain't got time for that shit. My goal in Jacksonville, probably to your surprise, is the same as my goal was last week or the week before with Kentucky. Get in, get a win, get out, no injuries. It's going to be the same with Missouri. It's going to be the same with Tennessee. There's not going to be a lot of fireworks coming from me because we have our hands on the steering wheel, and I ain't got time for the bullshit. So instead of being a, insufferable shit-talking Georgia fan, I'm going to be very cold and calculated.
Who would ever accuse you of being that?
Well, I don't know, but I got emails about it, and I'm just here to let everybody know if that's what you're expecting, we're going to lose some ratings because get in, get a win, get out, and don't suffer any more injuries. That's all I got for Florida, and then it's on to Missouri, and then it's on to Tennessee, and it's down the line. I don't care about if we can make it look good, fine, but if we have to beat Florida by 3 and nobody gets hurt, I'm good. Mitch?
I'm listening to what you're saying, and I kind of identify with a lot of what you're saying. But this season has been, as a Georgia fan, every year there's a point where it's like you feel good, and then you just get punched right in the guts, right?
And then we revert to the shit talking almost as a defense mechanism. I think a lot of fans do that, right? Because we're trying to beat our chest. I don't need to do that right now. I ain't nervous about nothing. As long as the product that we've put on the field continues to grow and get better, and it's uncomfortable because I'm not nervous.
But I'm hearing what you're saying. Like, yeah, we can beat them by 3 as long as we don't get hurt. I honestly, I'm not casting dispersions on your integrity.
You don't believe me?
But honestly, I don't think you'll be happy unless you stomp the piss out of those guys.
If we can, I will be happy if we have a blue-collar win. If Florida makes us look bad, but we still sneak out of there with a win and I don't lose any of our players, I'm telling you right now, I don't have a Bible. I don't know what you believe in. What do you want me to swear on? I'll be good with it. Florida, and here's the thing, this is the perfect trap game. The perfect trap game. We've seen it before. We've seen it in the last decade. We've seen it the decade before that and the decade before that. Florida has nothing really to play for. What better than to show up hair on fire, open the deck, play with reckless abandon, and play spoiler? And they've done it before. 2002 Florida had no business on the field with 2002 Georgia and found a way to win. 2005, same deal. Now, they've suffered the same thing. 2007 Georgia, no business on the field with 2007 Florida, but they found a way to win. Georgia's always in this, we're in the hunt. We ain't in the hunt. This shit's ours for the taking. I ain't got time for your bullshit right now. Get in, get a win, get out, no injuries.
Does Georgia feel a little bit like King Kong right now? Like just ain't worried about T-Rex.
And that's not. I also don't want people to be like, false modesty. I'm not trying to be false modest. Like trust me, we're not cool with this either. This is new for us. Okay, this is new territory for the Georgia Bulldogs. Because even the best teams we've had, let's say in the last 25 years, have all had glaring deficiencies. You're like, yeah, they're good, but when they come up against somebody that can do this, it's going to be a challenge. And then Georgia shits the bed and fails that challenge.
By the way, Minter just gave up a double. I think it's bottom of the third.
Are the Braves winning?
Hold on.
Are the Braves winning?
5-0.
Okay, then that's all we need to know.
But who was our starter tonight?
we don't care.
I don't know that I can name 3 of the players on the team.
Sid Bream. Sid Bream's your pitcher.
Sid Bream.
I was there that night when he came. I'm gonna tell you now, that was good. But let's stay on target here. I just, I've said it since we've done the show starting this season. This is going to be a weird year. This Georgia team is different, and it's uncomfortable, but it's true. Now, that all to say, Florida, they're 4th in rushing. They're 9th in total offense. This is a rivalry game. They have nothing to lose. I think they are going to have success moving the ball against this Georgia defense. They had success. Forget the interceptions. They had success throwing the ball against LSU. They just couldn't score. They couldn't score enough points. Their turnovers gave LSU more points, and they could not stop the run.
No.
Do I think they're going to upset Georgia? I think it is unlikely. It is not impossible.
How do you feel about this spread? 14. It's 14 now. 14 points. How do you feel about that? I don't know whether Dren knows this or not. You and I have talked about it extensively, Matt. But we in our lifetime, Georgia has been a bigger favorite than this.
Max headroom.
Is it once? Mm-hmm. I've said in our lifetime, Georgia has been a larger favorite than this. How many times? Is it one time?
I think it was 70. It was in the early 70s. They were a 21-point favorite.
I'm talking, but in our lifetime, since 78, 79.
I wasn't
80.
Born back then. Was anybody here born in the early 70s?
Yes.
Well, you were born in what, 75?
Okay.
Born.
You were born in 74?
God dang. Well, you don't look it, man. That's a compliment.
Yeah, thanks.
So that's a historic spread.
It's not something, but the thing about it is I'm looking at it and thinking, gosh, can we beat these guys by 14?
Yeah.
I
think you can.
And I actually don't think we'd have to flex very hard to do it, to be honest with you. And that's not trash talking. I'm just being really, really honest with you.
I don't have time for trash talk right now.
Florida can't stop shit through a goose. That defense is awful.
So guys, we're gonna let the Tennessee dude talk some shit tonight about Florida. Go ahead. I don't mind orange on orange crime.
Orange on orange crime.
It don't make me no damn difference.
Well, I mean, look, realistically, Saturday was the only game that we were truly blown out in, and the only reason why we got blown out in is because we just fucking ran out of gas.
No. Hold, time.
What?
I am not going to sit here and allow you to call Saturday's game a blowout. That was not a blowout.
Well, it's the closest thing to a blowout we've seen all year.
The score got away from you, and it snowballed at the end, but that's because the team was put in a position where they had to do things.
All right. Are you doing are you guys doing a very orange show this week?
As far as I know, we are. Well, right. No, we're not. We may take a week off since this is an off week. I haven't talked to Brandon yet, so I don't know.
The next time you do one, I'm gonna try to come on because I want to talk about this, but not here. Mm-hmm. I think Tennessee. I'm comfortable after what I saw. They're ahead of schedule. Josh Heupel, he's got something cooking. It's depth at this point.
Oh yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah, we just didn't have enough depth to keep up.
In the fourth quarter, in the fourth quarter, you're up against Alabama. You need to have 1, 2s, and 3s getting a hard look by the NFL. You don't have it yet. If he can start recruiting, obviously he's starting 22 or something. I want to talk about that with you on y'all's show. But tonight, we're gonna keep it on Jacksonville.
Yeah,
Mitch intimated to me he thought 14 was too low.
Dren was about to make a point. He was going to say something about getting blown out there, and I just had to interrupt.
I appreciate the sentiment. I do.
I mean, I'm not doing it to blow smoke up your ass. I'm just saying.
I know you're not.
That was a football game until late when it wasn't.
I mean, look. As long as I've known you, the one thing you do not do is you do not suffer fools lightly. Okay, so.
Except for Ducati, he's just like.
I accept the exceptions. But I think Matt's right. I think Florida can move. I think Florida can move the ball. I think I don't know who Mullen's going to put out there quarterback. If he puts Emory Jones out there, I mean, if that D line can get any pressure.
If what D line can get any?
Are we still saying if at this point? See, he realized
quarterback. It'll be over. I mean, that's legitimately one of the best four or five defensive lines I think I've ever seen that Georgia has this year. And I mean, I've grown up watching some really badass defenses in my life. I mean, back in the day, when Miami had Jerome Brown, and Notre Dame had Chris Zorich. Those guys, were just complete. Eric Curry for Alabama in '92.
And Ndamukong Suh at Nebraska. He basically won a bowl game by himself.
Yeah. Those guys, I mean, you guys have a really special bunch there, and I'm not looking forward to watching my guys try to block them. And note that I said try.
I mean, this is normally the week where I rip my shirt off and go crazy, but I feel different about it. We need to go in here and handle business and get ready for Missouri. And I'll talk the same about Missouri, and then it's time for Tennessee. And then there's a march. There's a cadence to this team. There's a buy-in. This team is different. I've been saying it since week one. This Georgia team is different. You don't hold, of course you do now, but in the beginning of the season, when you didn't have hindsight, you don't hold Clemson to 3 points. You don't do it. No. That doesn't exist. No. All right, so then we're like that. Well, maybe that was a fluke. Well, then you have the next week, and the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that. Mitch, how many points have we given up in 7 games?
What was it, like 40? Shit, I don't even remember. Was it
13 to Kentucky.
46.
I think so, something like that. Well, but here's the thing. I have steadfastly held. And I said this for the Clemson game. Y'all can roll the tape on that. I said, if they don't do it this year, I don't know when they're going to do it. Because
who Georgia?
Yeah, I said it from the very. I mean, I picked them to beat Clemson straight up. I said this is it.
Me too.
I've never wavered from that. I'm like Georgia, and Georgia is the team to beat. This is their year. So. I mean, there's never been a doubt in my mind.
We're not, and we're in the same boat. We're just not used to this because we always had the safety net of, oh yeah, we lost to South Carolina. Okay, now let's retreat and talk some shit and be assholes about it because of this thing and just, we're in the hunt and this, that, and the other. We're in unfamiliar waters.
Yeah. I want to ask a question. I saw a video this week, and The premise of the video was that it was coming from a Georgia fan, a Georgia content producer who was very high on the whole deal, and he said Kirby Smart has built the machine. And so I want to say, okay, I'll entertain that. Let's hear it. And he said that right now the evaluating process for talent has slightly changed. They are star chasing still, but you start seeing them sign guys that don't necessarily have the star ratings, but do have physical attributes. So it means that they're shopping. You know what I mean? They're shopping for certain characteristics in guys, and somewhat like what Clemson has been able to do over the past few years. And so it makes me wonder. Is it? And we'll bring Robert in with this question. Robert, has Kirby Smart built the machine?
Well, hello, I'm driving, but if you're talking about Kirby building the machine, I don't know if it's 100% there, but you can't tell me that it's not well on its way. How about that?
I think he's thinking in the right direction. I mean, he's definitely He's definitely looking for the best players he can get, but he's also looking for the best players that he can get that fit into the system.
Well, that's
that
kind of where I was going because
he's trying to
I said this to Matt. I said, listen, Justin Fields, great player, great talent, looks good on paper and all that kind of stuff, and looked good at Ohio State. But he was never going to be successful at Georgia, I don't think, with the skill set he has and with the skill set we were looking for. So maybe there was a misevaluation. Maybe
Kirby was a size queen.
And I still think that there's some of that
to a degree. He still is, but you're making a good point. We're signing. There's some 3 stars and some 0 stars right now who have propelled this team in real time to dominant-looking victories. Jordan Davis was a 3-star. Ladd McConkey, I don't even think he had a star.
He did.
Was it 1, 2?
No, it was a 3, if I'm not mistaken.
I know that he was a lifelong Tennessee fan, and we scoffed when we got him. We were like, "Who is this? Who is this peasant?" And now you've got Ladd the honky out there balling.
Well, the backstory about Ladd though is he was committed to Chattanooga, right? Georgia offers him his first Power 5 offer, and then trying to use that to go up to Knoxville, to camp, hopefully getting an offer because. If he gets an offer from Tennessee, he's a Vol. They don't offer, and he sticks with Georgia, and the rest is history.
Look at Stetson Bennett, the 4th walk-on.
Dan Jackson, walk-on. Jalen Johnson,
Action
walk-on.
Jackson. Jalen Johnson. Yeah, The list goes on and on. I think we need to speak to the maturation of Kirby Smart and his staff as coaches. You got to also remember, Kirby Smart didn't go coach somewhere else and then come to Georgia. Nick Saban already had head coaching experience before he built the dynasty and the empire. Mm-hmm. Kirby Smart jumped into the Georgia boat with, this is my first job. What do I do?
Well, first head coaching job, yeah.
And this, right. I think he's maturing. We've had our gripes about Kirby, still do sometimes. I think we can speak to the maturation of Kirby and his staff, development, evaluation. I think in the beginning it was grab all the toys. 5-star, get him. 4-star, get him. Let's just get him. Get him. Justin Fields, come here. Who else? Holloman, come here. Come here. Brenton Cox. Yeah, you don't want to play there? Come play here. It was just come. All right, we got a bunch of good players. All right, now what do we do with all of them? Now I think it's more like, all right, we've kind of settled in. Here's what I want to be. Here's how I want to win. Do you fit this?
Right. We used to just take all those stars and swing them around like a cudgel and just bludgeon you to death with them.
Anybody think Spencer Rattler comes to the SEC? Where's he going to go?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt?
He might go
South
to Georgia.
Carolina.
He might go to South Carolina. He might go to Texas A&M.
Ole Miss.
No, I don't see that. I don't see A&M.
If Matt Corral leaves, he might go to Ole Miss.
He might
I wouldn't do that.
He might go to Tennessee.
We got a backlog quarterback right now.
I watched a video.
You have Spencer Rattler.
I watched a video of him in high school calling his teammates who couldn't quite make the catch fucking idiots. That's all I need to know about Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I got
poison.
You can. It's on record that he's not the greatest teammate. Like there's no debate in my opinion, and I think it's a work ethic issue as well. I think if you look at his time in Oklahoma, how much can you say he's progressed? In all honesty, how much has he progressed?
No, we don't have a large enough sample size to even look at. I mean,
he had all last year. He had the year before that. I think there's been enough to see some kind of maturation. Sorry, but I just haven't seen it. I really haven't.
Right, you would hope to see some in it, but no, you and as soon as he faces the least little bit of adversity, his true colors show. You know what I mean? Yep. He hasn't smiled since that Texas game, man, and the team's winning. So I don't know.
I don't know if you ever saw the Netflix series QB1.
I've seen clips from it, especially clips relating to Rattler. Yeah.
The season that Rattler was on, it was him. Well, no, it was the second season. It was him and Tate Martell. Tate Martell.
I'm going to do
Those
it,
are
man.
the two best names you could
Don't do
possibly talk
Don't
about.
do it, Mitch.
Jake
Don't
Fromm
do
was
it,
on
Mitch.
there at one point. But I want to go. I want to go back to something that you guys were talking about what Kirby's doing as far as looking for what he wants to build a system, the identity he wants to establish as a coach. In that way, to me, he is the anti-Butch Jones, because the only like completely copacetic personnel move Butch Jones ever did was getting Josh Dobbs to Knoxville.
Okay.
Dobbs was the perfect quarterback for that offense. He really was. He didn't have an offensive line because he's always running for his life. But I really think that he and what Butch's downfall was, he was going for the best possible players he could get, and not necessarily establishing the best players for his system so he could build that kind of identity.
What you're seeing here is the UNLV running Rebs football stats here. You'll notice that our man, Mr. Martell, the fourth stringer for UNLV.
He's the running quarterback.
Yeah, oh man,
okay.
I want to play like
he's living at home too.
I want to play taps, but he ain't worth it.
You're calling him the running quarterback, but there's a quarterback that has more rushing yards than him.
I know, but like one game I actually saw him playing this year. That's all he did. He came in and ran the ball. That was it.
Let's go back to recruiting. And while we got Robert here, I got to get Robert's thoughts on this.
St. Martell has 2 yards rushing on the season.
That's fantastic. Listen,
that is outstanding.
Florida lost 2 big-time recruits, almost back-to-back. Julian Humphrey, and what was the other guy's name? Shamar James?
Shamar James, yes, sir.
Robert, our Florida friend who's not here for Georgia Florida Week, mysteriously.
Another reason why you're so sedate tonight is the fact that he's not here.
Well, he's not, because I don't understand what's happening. They lost. He said Georgia's going to get both of these recruits. What did you say, Robert?
I think so.
Shamar James and Julian Humphrey.
Yes, I think so. I think Julian Humphrey is almost, in my opinion, he's coming soon.
He's trending Georgia right now, 92.86% right now.
Shamar James is a little bit more of a question mark here, I think, with the fact that, looking at linebacker spots, you have C.J. Washington in the fold, Jalen Walker, obviously. How many linebackers does Kirby and company want to take? When it comes to secondary and when it comes to defensive line in this class, I don't think Kirby turns down anyone that needs to come in here.
Jaheim Singletary, 6'2", 170. I think he was in Ohio State. He is currently 94% trending Georgia.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to say when because I can't say when. But in my opinion, I feel like it could be any time for both of him and Julian Humphrey.
You can't say when because you don't know, or you can't say when because you do know.
I don't know. I just feel like it could be any time, honestly. I
gotta tell you, I gotta be honest with you guys. I stalked out Shamar on Twitter a little bit, and his content seems to be leaning towards Bama. So I'm not holding my breath for him. If he comes, great. If not, fine, right?
I mean, look,
I think
any recruit that leaves Florida is a Georgia win, in my opinion. So,
you're right.
And he was a big one.
You're right.
No, he was their top one. Yeah. They're top. The thing about it is, when it comes to what we're seeing happen with Florida right now, to me, you look at the recruits know all of this. That tells me that there's about to be a huge shakeup in the defensive coaching staff. I think the writing's on the wall.
Is that what's causing all this?
God dang right it is.
It's clear that Third and Grantham is not going to be on the Florida sideline next year. It is clear to me that that's the case. What is not clear is whether Mullen will also not be on the sideline.
I think he will.
I think Mullen sticks around for another year. I think so.
What's that, Dren?
I said this weekend's going to have a lot to do with that.
I hope he does. I want Mullen to be the coach forever.
I mean, I agree. So here's the
Outside of
question.
a COVID year, when we show up with half a defense and a walk-on quarterback, the blind squirrel finds. See what I did there?
Blind squirrel Eddie. I like that.
This year, the nut will be returned to its rightful owner. Reality will come crashing down in Gainesville. I hate to say it like that, but that's what's going to happen. As long
It
as
ain't
we
gonna come crashing down, bro. But it won't come crashing down. It's gonna go down, and then it's gonna go underneath, and it'll never be seen again.
see, Robert's going to be taking over for me for the shit talking responsibilities. I've already made my position known. Get in, get a win, get out, no injuries. That's Matt. But Robert's going to fill in the gap.
Hell,
Burn it to the ground and salt the ashes.
don't even piss on the ashes. I don't care.
So here's a question, Robert. This is one that we've heard over the years, and we've even entertained it on this show. Who's a better coach, Kirby or Mullen? And this is what gets tossed around. Kirby's a better recruiter, but
no doubt about that. Yeah,
but Mullen is a better coach. He's a better X's and O's guy.
It depends. To me, it's hard to really dictate because they coach two different. Kirby coaches defensive. He's a defensive-minded coach, and Mullen with offense. To me, Kirby's, for the most part, when he was with Bama, he always had the elite talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, if you put him at Mississippi State, how does he do, right? We don't know. But as a head coach, there's no question that he's been better, in my opinion. Both of them, I don't want to compare because it's literally
I'll answer your question. Listen, if you put him at Mississippi State, he'll do the same thing. He will build the machine, or he will attempt to build the machine. Now, there's certain places where you can build the machine.
The X factor there is recruiting. So yes.
Yeah, I mean Kirby. This is Kirby's formula. This is Saban's formula. If you build the machine, then you don't have to worry so much about X's and O's. You know what I mean? Like you make sure you got the Jimmys and Joes, and you don't have to worry so much about X's and O's. Can he do X's and O's? Absolutely. All these guys can, man. These aren't. What the hell happened to Brandon?
I don't know.
Somebody threw him out at second. I think that this whole notion that Mullen is somehow infinitely better than Kirby with X's and O's. Everybody's dropping like flies here.
Ducati must have farted.
Actually, Robert said he lost service for a second.
No, Brandon saw that recruiting ranking y'all got and said, "I'm out."
There he is. He's back.
He wants more suffering.
So yeah.
Hey, are the Braves still winning? Are the Braves still winning?
5-0, bottom of the fourth.
Well, anybody who's watching the show is at least an SEC guy, which means you're a Braves fan because that is a unifying force. The Braves are like the Voltron core of the SEC.
Unless you're from Arkansas and you're a Cardinals fan,
or Louisiana,
That ain't really the South. I just got news. We don't do the French and we don't do the West. The deep South,
Florida.
Braves fans.
So I want to peek back here at this. These are 24/7 rankings here, and I just want to focus on the East teams. So this is the 2022 recruits, and Georgia's got 21 commits already. Probably it'll take 4, maybe 5, maybe even 6 more. We don't know, but I'm thinking around 25 commits is probably what Georgia will take. Right now, the class ranking is or the class total is 292.7, and Georgia's been averaging over 300 now since Kirby's been there. And I think if you'll go back, guys, and look at the total number of 300 or higher rated teams in like the history of 24/7 recruiting, if you look at the total number of 300 teams, I think Georgia and Alabama have something like 80% of them. It's kind of ridiculous. But I wanted to look at the East here. So we got Georgia is currently atop.
Look at Missouri.
And then you got Missouri and Kentucky. So this is funny because, in the offseason, Matt and I were talking about how Missouri and Kentucky were that middle tier, right? And they're 5th and 6th in the total SEC, 2nd and 3rd in the East. And this, you see where Missouri is sitting right now? At 5? That's where Florida was sitting, because look out in front of their name. You see that? -4. Losing those 2 players has tumbled them down into 9th.
Numbers.
So Robert made a good point. These recruits are looking at this and thinking, oh, this coaching staff is about to be in flux. This team isn't trending in the right direction. I don't know if I want to be a part of it. And is this the stake in the heart for Florida? I don't think that's true. But their class ranking has trended downwards every year for the past 3 years. So what do you make of that? Let me tell you something else too. Florida's got these 13 commits. They're at 89.11. But right now they're sitting on 200 points. We'll say 200. And Georgia's sitting on 300. Right? What does that mean? What's the difference? 300 and 200. Well, let me show you. Let me show you. In case you don't know.
Did y'all know y'all were in for a PowerPoint college class tonight?
That's funny.
As long as you didn't sit there and read the fucking thing word for word, I can live with it.
See this guy here, Malachi Starks. He's Georgia's top recruit.
Sorry.
I stand corrected.
What the hell is that?
I'm looking up something.
So Malachi Starks is Georgia's top recruit, and I think if you look at the class calculator, you'll see that he's about like 28 points by himself. All right, 28 points by himself, and that means that if Georgia is currently 100 points ahead of Florida in recruiting, then that means 4 of these dudes, 4 of these 5-star .99s. You know what I mean? That's a lot of.
Hey, Mitch, before we get off of that. Hold on. Before we get off of that, when you get done max headrooming, go back to the actual rankings for the classes of the SEC, please. I did want to see one thing I was curious about.
Give me a second to get there. All right, what you want to see?
Scroll down to Florida one more time, but leave the bottom border at Florida. Or something I wanted to point out. This is very important. Scroll down a couple of more. Bam, number 12, Tennessee.
Hey, you want to see something even better than that?
I love it.
Number 13. So here's my thing. And I don't want to get off on a dirt road. We were talking about this with Dren. The starting 22, and I'm extending this courtesy to our Tennessee boys. Your starting 22 can throw some punches. We saw it in Tuscaloosa, of all places. It looked like a goddamn fight. Depth. That's it. That's all. Hypo's going to have to get it up higher than 12th. Okay?
Well,
in fact, he's going to have to get it higher than probably 6 or 5. Because the latter half of that recruiting table, if you go back and you do a deep dive, ain't good. We talked about this, Dren, but Brandon's joining us. I'm sure he agreed. You ran out of gas. You ran out of gas.
There's no depth.
So this is where you make it, right? This is where you make that depth up. And I think
Florida is now back there with y'all in the back quarter of the SEC. Of the SEC. They're in, what are they, 9th, 9, 11, 12. Let's not split hairs. Florida has just fallen back there. Let's not talk about y'all challenging Georgia. When can y'all get like a leg up on Florida?
Well,
if we'd have played them later this season, I think we got them beat.
That might be true, but
on the recruiting side of it, I mean, Walter Nolan's going to help.
That's true. He'll add 30 points or so.
He's the crown jewel. I mean, he's legit 5-star. I mean, the biggest guy we have now is Addison Nichols out of Atlanta, Greater Atlanta Christian. And
good pickup, by the way. Good commit.
Yeah, I mean, he's the number 4 guard in the number 4 guard in the country, and we need that. We're picking up we've got a couple of really beefy interior linemen. We don't have enough defensive line. Oh, come on, Vandy.
What the hell are you yelling at?
Why are we talking about Vandy?
Our boy made an error on the baseball game.
Ransby booted the ball, and the Astros scored. But we need more defensive linemen. We got a decent chance to get the number one JUCO defensive back in the country out of Snow College. Utah. I can't think of the kid's name, but he was definitely very happy to receive an offer from Tennessee.
I remember in the off season, I think I asked y'all, when all the news was coming down with the Pruitt shit and the this and the that, and y'all said Dren said about 8 years before Tennessee would be back.
I remember that.
Do you still feel like it's going to be 8 years based on the product you've seen this year?
I would probably cut it to 5 or 6.
I think y'all are ahead of schedule. Robert, what do you think about Tennessee? Are they ahead of schedule?
I think so for where it stands. I think the main question here, and it will be the main question, is what comes from, what happens from that investigation. I think that's going to impact recruits. However, I think you look at what Heupel's done and the production you've seen on the field from Hendon Hooker, and, they've done good things. And to me, they're making strides. I think you put them, I have them at 4, I think 4 or 5 in my power rankings right now in the SEC. I think they're well on their way compared to what we were looking like 3-4 months ago. I think they're well on their way for what it's worth.
Would you also, any of you, agree that Auburn might be ahead of schedule? And any of you have a tingle in your tummy like Mitch has?
Let me tell you
Answer the first one first, and then I'll explain what the second one means.
They've got to get a consistent
ahead of
Do you think they're ahead of schedule?
I don't know if they need a consistent. Because
is Brian Parsons ahead of schedule?
There's no inconsistent.
Hold on. Bo Nix is consistently volatile. Okay. And that is what it's going to be. That is what he's always been. That's what he is. All right. And that's what you're going to get from Auburn. As long as Bo Nix is the quarterback, you're going to get volatility. And you get a pretty solid defense. And with Tank Bigsby there, you're going to get a pretty solid running game. And then you sometimes have a quarterback that just goes off like fireworks, right? And then sometimes you have one of those, it just kind of peters out. I have this strange suspicion that Auburn is sort of like a 20-sided die. You know what I mean? Like you just roll in like, oh, shoot, or oh, you know what I mean? And they could roll and knock somebody out like Bama. They could roll and completely get blown away by Mississippi State, like anyone, I think that it's just shaping up to be this moment.
Anyone else have that tingle in their tummy?
Here's what's going to be funny.
I don't.
Here's what's going to be funny. I know you don't. It's fine. It's fine. It can be just me. It's fine. Because look, there's a 20% chance and I'm 1 out of 5 here. So it's fine. That's the 20%. But look here. What you gonna say when Auburn beats Bama and puts Ole Miss into the SEC championship game, and then a few days after that, Auburn cans Harsin for non-compliance with the vaccine mandate? What you gonna say then?
Welcome to 2021.
Exactly. Welcome to 2021. Right?
Yeah, but we have it on I think we have it on pretty solid authority that the state legislature in Alabama may step up and stop that from happening.
They're going to have to step up because it ain't.
Because Alabama is not Washington.
Okay.
We don't go to authority. Are you talking about Tennessee volunteers?
No. I'm talking about our
Alabama law legal friends.
Our resident attorney, and an Arkansas fan.
Yeah.
Who has a pretty good.
Who's only appeared on the show one time? Dargan Ware. Show your face.
Dargan is he's an attorney in Birmingham, and he thinks that if
he appeared on our show for like half a second.
Yeah. In the 5-1 Atlanta.
So he's Dargan is of the opinion that I hate to speak for the guy, but he thinks that Harsin's not going to get canned for non-compliance with the vaccine mandate.
Well, that means Auburn's not Washington State.
Or Washington, D.C. But yeah, here's the funny thing is that Saban has been beating the vaccine drum, and people in Alabama like what Saban has to say, and it's funny to hear. Not that Harsin is beating against the drum, but he's just avoiding it at all costs. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to talk about that. And it seems odd that he keeps getting pressed, because that deadline of December the 8th, their deadline is December the 8th. You get to the point now where if you have to take 2 shots and you got to wait in between those 2 shots and wait for the efficacy to kick in, all that kind of stuff, you're pushing up against that December the 8th deadline. You may not make it. So it'd be really funny to see them can Gus, hire this new guy, and then turn around and have to can him too, and then the legal shenanigans that would ensue after that, right? Does Auburn have all this money?
Would Auburn suffer because of this? I think
Bobby Lowder has all that money,
but in the middle,
I don't know about the university.
Auburn would be able to fire with calls, so they wouldn't have to pay anything back out, right?
Right,
if that would be the case.
But then he would turn around and sue, and that's what I'm talking about. The money would come from
That's what
the
Nick
legal
Rolovich is doing at Washington State.
Yeah,
this is probably where the feds are gonna. This is where the Supreme Court or some crazy bullshit is gonna come in, and at that point, I'm just washing my hands. I'm like, well, it's not Georgia.
Right, exactly. That's exactly my point. And here's the thing. And all of that bullshit, all of that storm of trash.
What did I say at the beginning? I don't have time for your bullshit.
All right.
We have natty to win.
All of that noise. Auburn is nothing if not volatile. So with all that noise, a victory over Bama, boop, just rises to the top. That's just the little cherry right on top of that poop.
I mean, they're playing in Jordan-Hare, so I mean, look, crazier shit's happen. So
just like in Jacksonville. You got a point. Mitch,
so
you got them picks.
So I do have some picks I want to talk about, but I need to we need to get caught up on our picker's choice from last week, boys. So last week everybody hit TAMU, everybody hit Bama, everybody missed LSU because Ole Miss just ran away and left with that one. Real quick, Auburn. Robert. Sorry, I called you Auburn. Who's better, Kentucky or Ole Miss?
Who's better?
Yeah, right now, right now, today.
Kentucky.
He didn't stutter. Okay. A few of us took Vandy. A few of us took Vandy and the points against Ole Miss, but or rather Mississippi State. But Mississippi State ran off and left Vandy. Vandy is on another planet, y'all, and it's a real dump, In the picker's choice, gents. The only picker to pick correctly in their choice was Mr. Ducati, taking Notre Dame -6.
Hey, y'all.
God damn it. You're filling this head up, man. Jesus.
Listen, I just want to let you know that Jesus is your Lord and Savior, and he gave me that pick, and I took it.
I fucked up.
Robert missed it by a point.
Well, thank you, Ernest Ainsley.
I love you.
God
Dren's Shanties took a poop on Wednesday night.
Big time.
And Brandon's Indiana and 20 was still no match. Mikey bet the Blazers over 68, VSU Blazers, and it went 55 points. I took Tulane in a 13.5 and lost. And Robert took Georgia Tech in 7, but Georgia Tech needed 8.5. So 7 wasn't enough.
There can be only one.
and it is.
The nerds from Atlanta let me down. Who would have thought?
So with that, Matt's the first person to hit 22. I hit 20 picks on the season so far. Dren's at 13. Brandon is at 11. And yeah, that's as far as I've kept up with it. Okay, but we have new picks for this week. So
yay. Let's do
it. In no particular order. We got Missouri at Vandy. And Missouri's favored by 16. Missouri is favored by 16? Is there a team that Missouri can beat by 16 points?
Is there going to be six? Are there going to be 16 points scored in this game? Is what I'm wondering.
You're probably right there.
Well, who wants to take this one first? This is a sticky one.
Shit, I'll take it. I'll take it first.
I'll go last.
Look,
all right.
we can all unanimously say that both of these teams are terrible. And to be honest with you, prior to this season starting, I thought Missouri was going to be a lot better than where they are now.
I did too.
With that being said, though, 16 points, even against Vandy, with how bad they're playing, that's a lot. That is a lot. They're playing at Vanderbilt. That doesn't matter because Vanderbilt is that bad. Call me crazy. They cover.
Vandy covers. Okay.
No. Missouri will cover. Missouri will cover.
Oh, okay.
Vanderbilt is that bad.
So you're taking Miz. All right. Who's next?
I'll go. Missouri can't stop anybody. Vandy can't score. So it's
Vandy can't start.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I said, it would not surprise me if there wasn't 16 points scored in the entire fucking game. I'll say Missouri will put up 20 on them. I'll begrudgingly take Missouri to cover.
Okay. All right. So Dren's taking Missouri. All right. Yeah. I'm just going to take Missouri outright. I don't think Vandy's worth a poot. So I think the game will get out of hand. As a matter of fact. Bill Ducati says the Braves. I think he means pitcher. Has a fractured fibula out.
Oof.
Oh well, that's just fantastic.
Charlie Morton.
Yeah.
Who ironically was pitching against his former team.
Oh, well, that's terrible and sad, and I hate that for him. Yep. Brandon and Matt, you two still have to pick this game: Missouri and Vandy.
Go ahead, Ducati.
No, I'll give it to you, man. Courtesy to a guest.
Oh, you ain't gonna be able to follow this shit.
Oh my God. Okay.
I don't need to. It's fucking Missouri and Vandy. Make your pick.
All right. There's a Sturgill Simpson song.
It's turtles all the way down.
You actually going to put energy into Missouri Vandy. God damn. There must not be nothing going on in Knoxville.
He's not in Knoxville. He's in Chattahoochee.
Even worse.
He's Chattanooga.
I'm King Turd of Shit Mountain, and you can have the crown, is the way the song goes.
Okay.
This would be Shit Mountain, and whoever gets this crown, they can have it. I think Missouri puts up 3 touchdowns on them. Vandy goes scoreless.
Oh, wow.
You pitching a shutout.
Oh, wow.
That defense is. God.
They're terrible, but Vandy is fucking terrible.
I'm getting a sense that these Tennessee boys are getting an extra bit of satisfaction from Vanderbilt's suffering. Why
I have no idea.
Why would that be? I don't know. I'm going to take Missouri on this one.
All right. Nobody wants Vandy.
Guns. We all thought Missouri was going to be better than what they are. We knew Vandy was going to be bad, but not this bad. I think the two will come together, and Missouri will cover.
Game 2. UGA -14 versus Florida.
You went last, Brandon. Go.
How can you go against UGA? They're white hot right now. It's the Florida game. Strange things happen, but I'm going to go with the Dogs. 14 points.
All right.
Dren?
I will most likely be listening this on the radio, on my satellite radio in my car, as I will be traveling on Saturday.
Sound like you said you're going to the rodeo, you freak.
No, I'm not going that far. I see no reason why Georgia loses this game. It does not cover this 14 points. I really don't. I just thought Florida can't stop anybody. I mean, their defense has given up. Todd Grantham is on his way out,
A
and
joke.
his boys know it. Well, he's always been a joke, but his boys know it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was 28. I'm taking Georgia.
Unless Grantham pulls an Orgeron and just says "fuck it" and comes up with the craziest shit, just lays it all out there.
Starts blitzing on every down.
Except that Orgeron did that last week and got it stuck in him. So I'm gonna just save the
That's
drama. UGA is going to cover this and then some probably. I'll let Matt and Robert ham it up here at the end.
I told you I'm not hamming it up on this one. We got bigger fish to fry. Georgia covers. I don't think this is going to be close on the scoreboard. I think Florida will have some success moving the ball. They've got dudes. They don't have enough dudes. They've got a coaching situation. They've got a quarterback situation. That team in Baton Rouge looked disinterested, looked uninspired, looked like they would rather be anywhere else but playing football.
Yeah. Robert, are you still here?
I am still here. Sorry, I don't have camera access right now, though. But
I think it's going to be the same in Jacksonville, and I think Georgia's going to come away with a pretty convincing-looking win. Is it impossible Florida could upset? No, we've seen this before.
It's damn near close.
I think Georgia handles business in Jacksonville. And I think they'll definitely cover. I think it might be a little bit more.
Since the Cotty don't want to talk shit, I will. Fuck them Gators. Georgia big. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
I like it. I like it a lot.
You like it better the way he does it, or better the way I do it?
I like it when he talks big and short. So it's
you like it when Robert talks dirty to y'all, or do you like it when I talk dirty to y'all?
Are you talking? You talking to the Tennessee boys?
Yeah.
I've seen Robert twice.
So you need a few more runs in the hotel room. Okay.
Okay.
I need a bigger sample.
All right, boys. Ole Miss
Bigger sample
at Auburn.
size.
Ole Miss is going to Auburn. Auburn's favored by 3 at Jordan Hare. This is a tough one. I mean, this is a tough one.
No, it ain't.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so at all.
Okay, well then pick it.
I think Auburn, who has not experienced that Auburn luck yet, except for that Georgia State call, gets it this weekend.
You think so? Auburn wins it and gets lucky. Is that you're taking Auburn?
I'm taking Auburn, buddy.
Okay. I think Ole Miss is better, so I'm going to take Ole Miss.
You think Ole Miss is going to win at Rocky Top and on the Plains in the same year? You're a dangerous man.
I do. All right.
So the question is, for me, who do you trust more, Bo Nix or Matt Corral? I sure as shit trust Matt Corral. Ole Miss.
Perfect opportunity to pick Auburn, though. Taking Miss. All right, Brandon.
Same thing, man. Bo Nix. Which guy's going to show up?
They have a
fuck
point.
it. I'll take Auburn. I'll take Auburn.
Brandon cannot take Lane Kiffin team. I see the text. I seen it.
All right, Robert. You're on the clock here.
Yep.
Auburn minus 3.
I know Ole Miss's defense ain't that great, but give me Ole Miss. Their offense is too powerful for Auburn to stop.
All right. Okay.
There it is.
Missing 3. Okay. Here we go. I am so curious about this line. I am so curious.
What does this even mean?
Now,
what the hell?
'Twas but 1 year ago that the University of Kentucky was the first team to hold Mike Leach out of the end zone. Mississippi State did not score offensive points against.
Can I go first?
Kentucky. 24-2 was the final.
Can I go first?
They picked him off 6 times. So
Can I go first?
Go ahead.
Can I finish?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how to pick this one.
Well, it's at Mississippi
1.5.
State.
What the fuck does that mean?
I mean, you might as well flip a coin. I mean, that's all. That's
You know
all
what?
it is.
I have a coin.
Right here. Somebody
If
with
it's
score safety.
Somebody
all.
said if it's a pick'em game like this, you might as well have the points to help you, the 1.5 to help you. If it's just a coin flip, I don't know if I feel like this game is a coin flip.
I don't think it is either.
I think Kentucky's going to run off and hide in this game. I don't know. I have no idea why this number is so small. Is there something that Vegas knows that I don't know? But I'm just going to trust Vegas to just know more than me. I'm taking Kentucky and possibly big. So nothing about the Leechinator inspires confidence in me this week. Dren, you want Kentucky also?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Kentucky.
Who's going to be behind that candy corn?
My only hope is somehow in some just cosmic joke, Mississippi State manages to screw up and sack Will Levis and maybe mess up a shoulder or something coming in when we go up there.
I mean,
play them. I mean, but I'm now granted I don't want to see that happen, but it would be nice to see Kentucky win and Mississippi State lay some kind of beating on them. I don't see it happening, but 1.5, yeah, Kentucky by 10 at least.
Okay. What about it, Matt?
I need to think a minute.
Brandon?
While I don't share your Kentucky Wildcat boner, I think they're going to kick their ass.
Them blue balls must be painful, man. I'm sorry, by now.
You mean bluegrass balls? Robert, how do you feel about Kentucky and Mississippi State? I think we lost Robert. Hey, Robert, if you were within the sound of my voice.
Give me Kentucky. Give me Kentucky.
All right, sounds good. All right, Matt, and here you are. Everybody's taking Kentucky. You want to be the oddball? You want to take them fighting Mike Leach's?
I sat with Mike Leach once in a bar in 2002 when he was not the coach at Valdosta State anymore. He had moved on, I think, but he was at the bar with me, and we were both drunk with Bud Thomas, his friend, who introduced me to him, and he's a weird motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sitting at the bar with Mike Leach is weirder than the shit he says on TV. I'm just telling y'all, that's a true story. He wanted to talk about at that time everything about the Caribbean and the pirates who were there and how the Spanish did this and they did that and the pirates got around it. He's an interesting dude.
Well, the man looks like a gargoyle.
It's translated. I don't know how any of his weirdness translates into being the head coach of a college football.
The man never played football.
I don't know how he's gotten where he is. When you're with Mike Leach personally, and I've only done it one time, he don't want to talk football. Football, if you bring up football, he leaves. And I saw that happen. I don't understand how this man exists. But somehow he does, to a point where he can be a head coach at Washington State and Mississippi State and Texas Tech and do all this shit. But I think it's a gimmick, and I think it's old, and I think it's through. And I liked him when I met him, but I don't think he's got anything for the Wildcats. Wildcats are legit, second best team in the East. They're gonna go to Mississippi State and handle business.
All right, okay. All right, last pick. Here we go. Michigan and Sparty. All right. So we need to know a little bit of rundown on this team, these two teams. I will say this: Michigan has currently attempted fewer passes than any other FBS school that is not a service academy. So they intend to run the ball, and they are running the ball against Coach Tucker. And Coach Tucker's got Sparty defense looking right now, and Sparty has a big stud running back too. So, both teams undefeated. Somebody's got to go down. Michigan's favored by 4.5, but they're playing in East Lansing. So, what do you think?
I got it.
All right, Brandon.
Michigan State all the way.
Wow. Let me find that, man.
Is Jalen
I
Watts?
think they're going to come out ready to fight, and they're going to do it.
Okay.
Is Jalen Watts Jackson playing in this game?
I can. If you're being serious, I'll
You have no clue who Jalen Watts Jackson is, do you?
No, I don't.
Jalen Watts Jackson is the player for Michigan State who scored the touchdown on the infamous muffed punt, or
Yeah, dude, I got nothing. I'm sorry, I don't follow Michigan State.
You've never seen that play.
What do you want me to say?
It was beautiful. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yes. Somehow Michigan.
He got in the Wayback Machine.
Somehow Michigan. I think Michigan's going to win this game. Probably. But I'm still going to pick Michigan. I'm still going to pick Michigan State plus the 4.5.
All right, Dren's taking Sparty.
Because I just.
I want to tell you guys.
He loses. Harbaugh either loses here or he loses to Ohio State. If he loses to Ohio State, he's probably fired. Probably.
I ask myself, which coach do I trust more? And right now, I trust Tucker more. I have never trusted Harbaugh, and I trust Tucker more. I think he's got something.
Paul Feinbaum. Paul Feinbaum does not understand. Paul Feinbaum has said he has absolutely no comprehension as to why Jim Harbaugh still has a job. And frankly, I agree with you.
Yeah, but fuck Paul Feinbaum. I'll say it every time I'm on this stream.
Matt, what do you think?
Paul Feinbaum.
You got
Show
three
me
Sparties,
on the doll where Paul Feinbaum hurt you.
I got three Sparties.
You got 3 Sparties and no Wolverines.
But there's 5 people here. Who hasn't picked yet?
Me,
you, and Robert.
Robert.
I'm telling you right now, a lot of people are not paying attention to the weather in East Lansing this weekend, guys. It's going to be rainy
and cold.
What does that translate to?
Ground game.
Who can run the football and defense?
Well,
with that being said, though, give me Michigan to go. Give me Michigan.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 Sparties. I got one who just took Michigan. Mm-hmm. I'm going to need you to give me Michigan.
Okay.
Attaboy, Ducati.
I don't give a shit about the spreads and the gambling. I need Michigan to be as highly ranked as they can so that they can smoke Ohio State.
Mel Tucker could be playing for a job interview, by the way, but I still think Harbaugh finds a way
LSU.
I mean, not knocking that.
Yeah, he could be. All right, boys. Hey, listen, we've been on for an hour and 8, so I think it's time to cut this thing off. I want to thank our guest, the Very Orange live stream boys. When are you guys going to go live this week?
We'll discuss it.
All right, well,
we're not playing this week.
It's CIA shit. They gonna do things on their terms.
So if you're watching the video still, and 2 of you are, so if you're watching the video still, go on and like and subscribe and share and do all those things. But also be aware that we recently have upgraded to a Facebook page on Facebook, the platform formerly known as Facebook. So we hope that you can share that page, subscribe, like, follow, whatever it is you do to the page, and our content will come to you. Anyhow, I gotta do one more thing. Good God Almighty, I am slacking tonight. Here, let's do this thing. Yeah, I should have just done that instead of all the rambling that I just went through.
Can I get anybody here now on a hot last take to say that Florida will beat Georgia?
You ain't catching shit like that out of my mouth.
Word
Did
up.
Florida man come on?
No,
We
we
haven't
not.
seen Florida man and stared into his soulless dead eyes.
Shit.
So stay tuned for the Facebook page
Time to nut
to
up
find
and
out when
shut
the stay tuned to the Facebook page to find out when the Very Orange live stream will be. And Robert, you DGD podcast, you guys are talking Thursday and Friday this week. Is that right? Did I see that right?
Correct. Typically do Thursday and Fridays. Yeah.
Okay.
Got my friend on from fifth quarter football. He's doing his 2021 fifth down 2021 Odyssey. We're going to talk about that because he will be at the cocktail party this weekend. So we got that Thursday, and then me, Juan, and Harrison Reno are hopping on and previewing the cocktail party on Friday.
Good deal. And just so you guys know, they talked. You guys talked recruiting last. Was it you talked Friday? You talked Friday
Right.
recruiting, right? So go watch that DGD podcast. Check it out. Subscribe. Good, really good content. You're doing excellent work over there, Robert. And we like to see it. So
Thank you, sir.
And also thank you for coming on our show and
Yeah, man.
and classing to join up a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, we need it because it ain't gonna be from me. Although
I don't
have said I've changed my priorities for the rest of the season.
What is that?
Matt has new priorities. He says, just get in, get a win.
Get in,
Nobody
get a
gets
win,
hurt.
get out, no injuries. I don't
Nah,
give a
hell
fuck
nah.
about talking shit
Nah.
no more. I
Well,
need us
he
to be
said
healthy.
dominate.
I need us to be
He's gone.
healthy.
He's
for
gone
Atlanta.
Galvano on us. Survive in advance.
That's
Well,
right.
King said dominate, and we ain't doing it. Famous quote
All
from
right,
Ed Reed.
hey, listen. Stick around for the post party, everybody. We'll see you folks at home later on. Go Braves, all right?